Oh boy. Basically, yeah. So look, folks, I just realized that before I got on here, I told Robert, I'll be right back, and I went like this. In the 80s, it would look like I was about to go get some of the marching powder. I looked, it's so when I saw myself, I was like, that's and anyway, folks. Anyway, that's just my back in the 80s, that would have probably been a thing. I don't know what happened. Anyway, that's probably why I didn't get invited to parties, because I wasn't doing stuff. We've got comics, we've got Kickstarters, we've got trailers, we've got all types of stuff going on. And the weather is kind of changing, maybe not. I don't know. It's a ceasefire. Yeah, whatever. Robert, are you ready? Your mic is still off.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay. I see you just smiling, and it's so eerily quiet, and I'm like, did the joke die? Like, I wasn't sure. I was like, did it die? It's just
No, I didn't want to give my full thoughts on the ceasefire.
Yeah. Between that and I've been watching way too much Miami Vice. All right. Anyway, folks.
Yeah.
Look, we're gonna have a fun day, a fun evening, or whatever time of day you're watching this. It's Wednesday. Let's have some fun. You ready, Robert?
Ready.
All right, folks, and we're gonna do the yada yada yada. No, we're gonna do that again. It's all wrong. It doesn't matter. Who gives a damn? Ooh, I need some sleep in the worst way. So, folks, hey, what's up? This is your comics culture news from TBA News, presented to you by the Hungry Bleak Show. I am Antonio Pomares, aka the Hungry Bleak, the hungriest man in the room, and apparently the sleepiest.
And I am the esteemed co-host Robert Jeffrey, also sleepiest. I probably should be drinking some coffee or something, man. But yeah, happy to be here. Happy to talk geek stuff.
Absolutely. Happy New Comic Book Day, everyone. It's Wednesday. Hope you're getting something new, or if you're not getting something new, hope you're reading something old, something that's new to you. Either way, it's a good day to read. So let's start up with what we've got going on, Robert.
Yep. So one of IDW has been, and I think I've spoken about this before on the podcast. IDW has done a really awesome job with the Star Trek IP, with comics from all branches of the Star Trek universe, so including Deep Space Nine, Voyager, New Trek like Discovery, and even Lower Decks, and also Starfleet Academy. But today I wanted to talk about, there was a new series newish series that started last year in September called Star Trek Voyager Homecoming, and it recently, a few months ago, wrapped up. But I've been checking it out along with a bunch of other comics on globalcomics.com. Check it out, really good service, and shout out to Antonio for hipping me to the game, as the kids say. And this is one of the first. This is one of the first few books I added to my library of books to check out, because I've always been a fan of Voyager, and we've only been able to wrap up what happened with the crew in novels. Actually, novels. There was actually a novel by the same name of Star Trek Voyager Homecoming, which doesn't follow the events of this comic book at all. It's its own kind of separate canon. But what happens in this series is written by Susan Bridges, Tilly Bridges, artist Angel Hernandez, colorist Charlie Kirkhoff, and letters Neil Uyetake. Please forgive me if I mispronounced it. But Voyager gets home. And if you've seen the last episode of the series, the final shot of the series is the ship flying towards Earth and being escorted by a bunch of Starfleet spaceships. But in this book, in this series, things don't go according to plan, or they don't get to Earth. And that's where I think the fun begins. But as a Star Trek fan who's always wanted the Voyager crew to get back to Earth, it was just like, yo, why can't you just let them get to Earth and stop having to fight for their lives, because it took them like 7 years to get back to the Alpha Quadrant. And And as you see here, the art is beautiful. I love it, but you get like a montage of big, like epic events or like important events that took place while they were in the Delta Quadrant, with all the different characters and situations and all this good stuff. But the thing that happens, and this is a minor spoiler, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, when the crew of the Voyager gets back to Earth, they encounter species 8472. And they are the main antagonists of this 5-issue series, and I will leave it at that. If you remember from watching, if you're a Trek fan and watch Voyager, species 8472 were a race of aliens who had pretty much kicked the Borg's butt, like in a horrible way. And they, once Voyager teamed up, the crew of the Voyager teamed up with the Borg to fight back against 8472, they became public enemy number one for species 8472. So this is picking up from those events which took place maybe like season 3, season 4. And that's where the main conflict is of this 5-issue series. So the crew is still trying to get back to Earth, but now they're trying to deal with a possible invasion by species 8472. So as a Star Trek fan, I enjoyed it. I will say that the series took a hard left from where I was expecting it to. I have read the novel, so I didn't think that this was going to be an adaptation of that novel after kind of reading some of the background into the comic book series. But I did not expect for species 8472 to be the main villains of this 5-issue miniseries, and I had fun with it. It's definitely kind of not a swan song, but it's a goodbye, for the Voyager crew in this comic book universe that IDW has built. And I do think that if you're a fan who wants to see what happened, after that final episode, I highly recommend that people check it out, give it a shot. I also recommend reading the novel, which is in its own canon. So that way you're getting all the Voyager love that you want. So I'm glad I checked it out. Like I said, I'm a fan of what IDW has done with the Star Trek franchise or the IP. And this is actually released last year when it was the 30th anniversary for the premiere of Voyager. So it was a nice way to give fans a little bit more from this, part of the Star Trek universe. So, like I said, I highly recommend it, especially if you're a Voyager fan.
30 years?
Yeah. I mean, I
feel like I should be like taking a long drag off of like a Newport or a Virginia Slim and be like 30 years.
Yeah,
I ain't heard that name in a long time.
January 16th, 1995. It premiered. Yeah.
On UPN, correct?
On UPN. Yep.
Damn, I hadn't realized. Wow. They're cool. I love the fact that there's so much like Star Trek stuff like on Global Comics as well. Like they have I want to say all the series from IDW they have on there, I want to say. Because I know they may have, because I believe there are some that are from Marvel too. I think, but I think those wouldn't be part of the gold unless they're past a certain time limit. Maybe, I'm not sure. I can't remember. But I love the fact that people are able to go on there and read so much of it, because there's a whole bunch of like series that they may know, may not know of. I always like to think that some of them are different universes too, because it might shift from the tone of, like you're saying, the novel or the series and how it ends, and it's a little bit of a difference. I always kind of like this. It's like a little something like almost like a what if kind of thing. What have you? And we all know that there are different timelines and such as far as Star Trek goes.
Yeah,
so that's a cool thing to do. I think that might be part of my summer reading, is some Star Trek stuff, like just going in on some things and just randomly just picking up some things from IDW, just going like I have no idea what I'm going to do on my summer trip. I was hoping to sleep, but I don't know if that's even going to happen. So
I mean, that's one of the things I tell Trek fans is like, try a different medium, try a novel, try a comic book, not just the TV show or the movies, and you'll have fun with it. So definitely, I highly recommend that.
Oh, no, thanks for reviewing, Brandon. Yes, we are grown men. I don't know what you're here for then. If you don't want to talk about comics, I don't know what you're here for. But thank you, because I'll just delete you and block you. To be honest with you, I just don't have the patience. Thank you. But I appreciate the view. Thanks, dude. So anyway, y'all know I ain't got the blood pressure, the patience, or the hairline for any of this mess. I actually don't. So what I do have patience for, a great abundance of it, because it's awesome, is King's Domain. This is from 615 Comics. I absolutely love what they've got going on, but King's Domain, I think, has a special place for me for some reason, and I'm not exactly sure why. So let me go down the credits for this. All right, so King's Domain, like I said, this is issues 1 and 2. 2 just came out maybe a couple weeks ago from the Kickstarter. Like the Kickstarter ended, and I think like I already had an email and said like that will always there. I was like, that's what I'm talking about. I love when it's done and it's automatically read in my. I absolutely love that. So the creator writer is Malcolm McFadden. For artists, we have. I apologize if I disrespect any of your names, truthfully. We have Omo Boriowa, Juan, Samuel Marquez, Serge De Lima. Colorist, we have Adepten, Emmanuel, Andy Khan Hezekiah, and Akinye Victor. Lettering, we have Letter Squids. So basically what this is this is the story. This is, and I'm not trying to be funny when I say this, this is a better, if you watch the movie Craven, read this. This will wash the taste out of your mouth of Craven. Because I read the first domain, King's Domain, and like when it first came out, loved it. And I read the second one, and I was like, oh, absolutely loved it. And then I watched Craven, and I was like, I don't know why I did that. I was like, no. So I went back and I reread the first issue again, and it cleansed my palate. So basically, what this is this is the story of Amari King, who was a former world champion fighter, who has a very tragic past. But what he does, he uses his money and his resources to stop animal cruelty as the hero Mahe. So he's kind of a he's against animal cruelty. He's against anything like that, and he'll go after poachers and such with this armor that he has, and he has this really cool lair with this huge like lion, which I absolutely love. First off, I want to say the writing is so incredible with this. The first issue gives you a great origin. You find out that there's what's going on, but then in the second issue, the world opens up even more, and you find out the people that he's going to be going up against, almost like a hit list of people that are part of this cabal, and they're coming after him as well. Each of them is deadly in their own right. I had so much fun with this series. It's such a great, I don't know, it's such a great comfort read, but also it feels like the best like action adventure comic that you can read, but also when I'm reading it, I can almost see it as an animated series or a movie. Like I would love to see maybe like 4 issues as a movie, truthfully. As you can see, the colors are very bright and bold. The way they even show him, then shading of the skin is absolutely breathtaking. Whether it is nighttime or daytime, you feel it. And you can see here with the action, like I said, the colors are very bold. The lines are so very crisp as well. The art and the writing blend together in such a beautiful way. It's incredible. And you can see here poachers that are going after the rhino horns. Because poachers will go after certain parts of animals for whatever, because some people they use them for for herbs, tea, or what have you, or just as trophies. But then they'll end up just taking the horn and killing the animal and leaving them there, which is horrible to do. But then we see our hero coming up, kind of, sort of. First, we only see a shadow, like a silhouette, coming up, and then you realize he's there. And as these poachers are trying to gun him down, he's not having any of it, and he takes them out. Also being, a former world champion fighter, and the fact that he's able to almost, I don't want to say communicate, but he's almost like have like a kinship with the animals and be there for them. is absolutely breathtaking. And you see him in his resplendent armor, everything there. There's not an image in this comic that I don't think is almost what's the word, striking.
Yeah.
Like, even if we're looking at the second issue, I think I can clip to the second issue. Oh, no, maybe I can't. Hold on. And any moment now. Yeah. This cover brightens it up more. This cover, I feel, actually exemplifies more of what we're going to be getting in this issue. It's a little bit brighter, it's a little bit bolder. We're seeing more because there's so much more there. Even the explosion there tells you this issue is going to be an explosive one, because this is where we're meeting the enemies, and they're having like this conversation where they're, first off, again, they're awesome. This is Mahis, and these are the characters he's going to be going after, almost like think of them as bosses, I guess, for bare lack of a term. And you see each of them, they each have a name, they each have their own specialty as well, like I was saying. But to get this shows that the world's going to open up even more, and we're getting the foundation of the world building, which I absolutely love. And I'm like, oh, who's he going to go after first? Will somebody turn on the Cabal and side with him? Because he does end up getting a bit of help from someone, and it comes out of nowhere, which I also love. Give me more of this. 615 has done an amazing job with what they've been doing with all their series so far. And to have a character like this, who's based in Africa, and for it to be against animal cruelty, and for him to be rich and using his money to actually help the animals. And he has like a whole sanctuary and all. This wrestling bears. You know what I mean? Like, each of the characters is something so different, and he ends up like, this is one of the villains. He ends up snapping the bear's neck. This is how you know Mahi is in trouble. Who is this cat who is out here wrestling and carrying the bear as if, yeah, I'm good, don't worry about it. Even here at the tournament where we're seeing like these underground fights, there's two more characters. I look at them and I said that I want to know who these characters are. Maybe later on we'll find out more. Again, teasing more things. Maybe saying, oh, what's the popularity of these characters? Or saying, you know what, I had this design for a character. I really want to do something. I didn't know what I was going to do until now. I absolutely love that. So I would strongly recommend going to 615 Comics, getting King's Domain 1 and 2, and check out all their comics, well, because there hasn't been a comic that I've said I don't like. And I like that feeling of being able to go to a publisher, and it's hard for me to pick something because I like everything. So I end up getting everything eventually.
And I'll hop in right quick. I picked up a couple of first two issues of Evora Lee.
Yes.
Yeah, so that I will have that ready for next week's episode because I get those up. And shout out to Malcolm, because he also hosts a podcast where he brings on creators to come on and talk about their books and talk comic books, and had a chance to speak with him about Autumn Fox when we had our last Kickstarter. So yeah, so that's how I came across Malcolm, and then I saw the library of books, and Evora Lee. Really, that series jumped out at me, and I loved it. So that's the short review, but I'll get more into it. So I'm very interested in checking this one out too, King's Domain, and the university's building looks amazing with all the titles.
I think Evora Lee was the first one.
Okay.
I think from 615, or at least it was the first one that I saw. There may have been something before, but I think that's one thing that I will give credit to IG for. I don't like social media in general, but it shows me like Black indie creators, because I've chiseled my algorithm to go, this is all I want to see. This, food, and Black women happy. Like, this is all I want to see in my, like, and it shows me that, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool, this is it. And it continuously shows me that. So I love that fact about it. So yeah. Hi, hello, Sarah. Thank you very much for joining us. Hope you're having a very good day, evening, whatever time it is, wherever you're at. Thank you. So next thing we've got coming up is a video game. What we got, Robert?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And then watch us get a copyright violation for me singing it. So
I'll be like, seriously, y'all. So y'all just grasping at straws at this point.
They're doing the most at this point. So shout out to, first of all, I'm going to say Super Evil Megacorp. I love the name of this developer, which is amazing. You know, it's pretty much every company in our country now. But this game was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate was a game that I'd had on my wish list for like a minute on Xbox. And the game, Xbox is now doing, Microsoft Xbox is doing their spring sale. And this thing came down like 90%. So for like $4, I got the game. And so, yeah, it was a steal. I bought the game and tried it out, and it has not failed to please. It is a really fun game. It is the basic premise behind it is that Splinter is kidnapped, and the Turtles and their friends have to go kick butt and find their father or find their mentor. And the thing that's different about this for me is that I've never played a roguelike, like it says, a roguelike action game. And the one popular roguelike action game that I'm familiar with is a game called Hades. And what it is that the second game, Hades, is actually Hades 2 is going to come out, I think, on Game Pass sometime soon. So look into Hades, look into roguelike games, and but the basic premise with these games, and shout out to my friend Machete and Gene for running the game with me as in a co-op experience. But Machete actually explained very well is that with these games, you are running through, fighting a bunch of bad guys. They give you like a horde of, in this case, like Foot Clan members and Mausers and all of that. And the difficulty increases as you go through each level. And the other thing that I noticed is that when you die on a certain level, you're taken back to the very first stage, which sucks. But what happens is that your abilities or your levels have been increased to the point where going through the first few stages to get to where you ultimately were and get past that increases. So it's like they're kind of building you up to kind of go through. It's a grind. That's the biggest thing that I notice with roguelike games is that it is a grind. The other thing is that when the enemies attack you, as you see here, you see basically kind of like a line of like where the attacks are going to come from. And so you have time to kind of move out the way and just kind of dodge and, strategize with your attacks and everything. So it has an X-Men Legends kind of vibe or Ultimate Alliance type of vibe with the top-downness of it. But to not have a save point was something that was new to me. And I was kind of pissed like the first time I realized that. But when we ran these levels, and the levels are set in New York City, so you're going through you're going to the docks, you're on the streets, you're in the sewers. And the other thing is you're jumping to different dimensions, which is really cool. I'm not as familiar with the lore of the most recent animated series over the past like 20 years. I haven't read a lot of the comic books. I've seen some of the recent movies, but this feels as if it ties into the lore of the more recent animated series. So definitely, I think people who are more familiar with that or are TMNT heads would definitely enjoy the narrative that they're building, for the game. In addition to the dialogue, the voice acting is really cool. Ralph sounds like Ralph. Mike sounds like Mike. Leo sounds like Leo. Donatello is himself, and everybody else that pops up. And I don't know if the game is on sale. I know that it is available on it's on Switch, it's on PS5, it is on Xbox, it's on Steam. It is also crossplay, which is a really good thing. But I don't know if that sale is happening on all of the other systems. But this is definitely a co-op game. Like, this is something that I think that it works well playing on couch co-op or online co-op, and the fighting is like fierce, brutal, very flashy, colorful as you see here, and the art style of, for the characters and the cutscenes. I want an art book for this because it looks really, really, really good. So shout out to whoever was the main designer or the artist on the series. And the cool thing is you can actually buy DLC add-ons, which include Casey Jones, Metalhead. I think Metalhead's right here, and Elapex, which is a character that I don't know. So I think that that's another draw. You can, I think I saw the DLCs for like either $4.99 to $6.99, so definitely worth checking out.
Not bad.
But if you're looking for like the last co-op game, turtle co-op game that I played was Shredder's Revenge, which is more of a traditional beat 'em up. And to have another chance to play a co-op like this was really cool. And like I said, the price was nice. And I grew up playing that TMNT game at the arcade where you can, you pump the quarters in and you run it with friends, and I think Turtles in Time and all of that. So this is a really good addition to the Turtles co-op library, and it's my first introduction to a roguelike game. So I'm interested now to try some other ones, and especially if they're co-op. So definitely, it was worth the $4 that I paid for it. It was a really good price, really good price.
That $4 is just dastardly. Yeah, I think that might be a character from the comic. I'm not sure because I know there's so many more characters. So I would love to jump into the comic, but I would feel so lost now because I know there's so much going on. But they always look so interesting. Like whenever I see like the covers for like an omnibus or something like that, I want to go yes. But then it's like omnibus number 5, and I'm like, I ain't got that kind of time. I'm sorry. I would love to go in and start because I'm a huge fan of it as a kid. Watched the movie as a kid. Played that beat 'em up.
Yeah,
played that beat 'em up, and then next beat 'em up I would go to would be X-Men.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So playing one of the most stressful games possible at home. The underwater didn't need to be that hard. I don't know why y'all wanted to cause little kids have blood pressure issues. I don't know why. Hypertension at the age of like, as a teenager is not cool. It's not cool. I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not cool. But no, this is cool, and it looks beautiful. I always love the art for the Ninja Turtles, and whatever like iteration that they are in the comics or even in the animated series, the art is always so cool, and it just looks beautiful. And this is just, I mean, it looks just like this, like the scene alone right here. The art that's right there, again, nice, bright, beautiful, bold colors. Even though it's at night, I absolutely love that. So yeah, this is one to definitely pick up. I'm gonna check because I know this time of year usually there are a lot of sales on all the. Usually, if the game is on sale one place, I think it might be other places just because I don't know. I think they control that. I have no idea, to be honest with you. But it looks cool to me. So next one we've got up is Bodega Comics. So I talked about this a little bit last week. I think it's a very interesting thing to me. So basically what this is a nonprofit like comics thing. And this is basically Bodega. It basically stands for Brooklyn organization dedicated to the endurance of the graphic arts. So this is it's a nonprofit, and their mission is to keep to support the platforms of comics and graphic arts in Brooklyn and the greater New York area. Now, the big thing about this is the fact of who's a part of it. James Tynion IV. He's the chair for this. I believe he lives in Brooklyn, I think.
Nice. I
want to say. So James Tynion, we all know he's written for Batman. Obviously, one of the biggest comics out there, Something's Killing the Children. He has his own production company called Tiny Onion, which a lot of his stuff is going out from there. He has comics from Boom. He's going to be having TV shows and animated things as well from his comics. His comics like Exquisite Corpses, The Closet, which terrified the hell out of me, World Tree, Room Service, just to name a bit, is incredible. Now, also on this board, let's say, we have Bryce Gold, who's going to be the executive director. We have Courtney Menard, who's going to be the secretary, and we have Elizabeth Harburn, who's going to be the treasurer. And they even have an event, which is going to be coming up soon. They're going to have like their first event, which is going to be called Beck. you're from New York, you already know what a Beck is. If you don't know if you're not from New York and you don't know what a Beck is, Beck basically is a bacon, egg, and cheese. They're keeping these names very New Yorkish, very, very New York centered. But what it will stand for here is Brooklyn Expo of Comics 2026. This will be November 14th and 15th, and this will be in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. I love seeing things like this that are for the endurance of art, especially comics and graphic art. And to have a name, again, like Tinian, who's a big name across the board in so many fields, as far as like the art, again, going from the comics and being a part of DC and Boom, having his own production, his own publishing, and then going to TV, movies, and animation. Those are a lot of platforms that each deal with art, the art of comics in particular, but in different forms. So I think that's very important. I would like to see who is at this event. I'm thinking about actually going. It's a little bit after New York Comic Con. So this might be a little kind of like the craziness of New York Comic Con that can be. This might be a nice little breather, but still something worthwhile to go to. I'm very interested to see what's there. I also want to see who else is going to be a part of this and what we're going to see. Something that was very funny to me, I don't mean funny, haha, but funny, he's right. And I was thinking it myself. Bodega. When you think of Bodega, you think of New York, you think of Bodega Cat, you think of Papi behind the glass, you think of, everything. You think of more Latino and Hispanic people, Afro-Latino, Afro-Latinx, what have you. Yeah. So I did kind of, I was like, yeah, that is kind of weird that it's got the Bodega, but I don't know if anybody on that board is Latino, Latinx, Hispanic, Afro-Latinx, Afro-Latino, Afro-Latina. I don't know. But I think with something like this, especially being in Brooklyn, I'm hoping to see a lot of people come out for this and a lot of people of varying identities, from race to gender to everything.
Yeah.
A very inclusive space. So hoping that this is what this is. Like I said, I do kind of want to check this out that first day and see what's going on with this. I've spread it to a couple of people, obviously from New York. Let's see what's going on to see if this is going to be the first event. But yeah, if you want to check it out, the link is in the episode description for Bodega Comics, and see what they're all about. Like I said, a nonprofit that's to encourage and support and nourish arts. I'm all for, especially the art of comics. I'm all for. So we'll see where this goes. I'm always a fan of anyone who's trying to champion art, especially in this particular day and age. But comics are a big thing, obviously. So we'll see where we go with that. All right. And next we've got Nexus for Roberts.
Yeah. So a trailer was released, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, from David Kirkman. You might know David's name from certain short films as Underneath, Children of the Sun, which is an Afrofuturistic space opera epic. And then I don't know what the official, unofficial title of these movies are, or the series, but David did a series of short films based in the Milestone universe, Milestone Comics universe. So the movies include Icon, Hardware, and Static. I think it's Static Shock, actually. Yeah, Static, a fan film. So Hardware, Icon, and Static, a fan film. And he's and then also he's also doing a TV series called Gonzo, which is separate from the Milestone work and Underneath. So the newest work that he is scheduled to release is a movie called Nexus. And like I was telling Antonio, I guess in the green room or off screen, there's not a lot of information as far as plot wise, but I will recommend that people go and check out the trailer for the movie, because it looks really, really good. It to me, it has a Edge of Tomorrow meets you know, kind of just sci-fi action type of vibe. And I don't know if it's set in the same universe as Underneath, which is I highly recommend people go and check out that movie. Or anything associated with it, because that was, like I said, it was a really insightful, action-packed space opera, Afrofuturistic space opera. But with this, it's, you know, going through the IG page just to kind of give you an idea of like the look of the movie. But he describes it as on IMDb. As it says, a horror sci-fi thriller. So the cast looks really looks amazing. The trailer itself, it's from what I've seen is that you see a soldier joining this like special ops organization, and you see a little bit of the training that he does. But in the trailer, you also see them go on mission, and things don't go so well from there. But here is, you see David behind the scenes directing, you know, the movie. And you know, like I said, I've been a fan going back a few years, but I think, like for me, he popped up on my radar with the short films, with the milestone movies. And I will say that if there is ever a live action adaptation or even animated, I would love to see David of the milestone universe. I would love to see David be a part of that as a writer, as a director, as a producer, as something. He has a love for that universe and those characters, but also he is a talented filmmaker who which I love is, and the other thing I love is that he hops between different genres. So, you know, he has something like Gonzo, which was like, I think, sort of a comedy drama. Then you have Underneath, which is more of an Afrofuturistic space opera. And then with something like Nexus, it seems like it's a, you know, sci-fi action thriller. So this brother is doing big things. He is doing really big things, I think, specifically for Black speculative fiction indie films, which I love, and I want to see more of that. But yeah, I highly recommend, if you go to YouTube and just do a search for Nexus and David Kirkman, you'll be able to check out the trailer. And you know, these are a couple of the shots from the trailer. So yeah, so I just love seeing Black people in sci-fi. So, you know, that's, you know, me. But yeah, I shout out to, you know, David and his team, and I'm looking forward to, you know, seeing what we get from this movie.
Yeah, I remember those milestone like fan made movies. I didn't realize that was the same person.
Yeah,
because those were like crazy. Unfortunately, at the time when they were coming out, I don't think there was any milestone coming out at the time.
No.
I don't think there was anything. I think they had been talking, but they had been talking for a long ass time, and nobody was trying to wait that long. Oh, so then this is, yeah. So from what I saw, from what those were, and to now, I'm sure he's gotten even better at his craft and is doing more. So yeah, this is something to definitely look out for. I mean, Nexus. Check out the trailer on YouTube and see what we got going on. Very little, which I like when people tease and don't give everything away.
Yeah.
I prefer that, not knowing everything about a project, which is fine with me. Always. So last up, we've got Kickstarters. There's a bunch of Kickstarters. Like my head already hurts, but I was looking at it, I was like, yeah, y'all are trying to just, why not just hand y'all my wallet and y'all could just run my pockets?
Wallets out here.
Like, is it easier for y'all? I'm gonna be honest with you, seriously. So I'm gonna go through a couple of them for you. Excuse me. One of the first ones we've got is Thema, the Queen of War. This is from 615 Comics. There you go. There's a theme of really incredible indie Black publishers and creators doing incredible things with comics. So Thema, the Queen of War, must use her God-given powers to protect the golden city of Ra from mystical Mercy, the mother of monster. So basically what this is the story. This is going to be kind of like a I love when someone takes our folklore, our legends, our mythology, and weaves them into their stories, and comes up with these great comics and great stories that they take that folklore and everything and they expand on it, change things a little bit, maybe add something, whatever, to create an even more story, an even bigger story, where they're almost creating a new mythology with it, which I love. That's what comics are basically like, a lot of a mythology. They basically are. So this is basically a story of Thema, the Queen of War. In the heart of an unrelenting war, the great king raised his voice to the heavens, asking the gods for aid. In response, Isis, Epidemic, and Ra answered his desperate call. Out of respect for the great king, they granted him a daughter destined to lead his warriors to glory and bring an end to the bloodshed. The king named her Thema. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly as well. For he envisioned her not just as a fierce warrior, but a queen that would lead people through the darkness. Thus begins the epic saga of Thema, the Queen of War. I'm hoping this is going to be an epic like saga. Like I said, I'm a fan of 615, and I'm a fan of what Malcolm McFadden has done. And he's got everything from, like I said, he's got folklore from all over, but he's got sci-fi, he's got action, he's got, this supernatural kind of folklore going on too. He's got bloody vigilantes. He's got a bit of mix of everything in his comics, which is nice to have a variety of things. I don't just want to have one particular set of something, because my tastes are varied from all across everything, whether from music to movies to TV, wrestling to comedy, what have you. I have different tastes, everything, and each of them has hit a point. What I love about this one is the art is beautiful, and I love seeing folklore that I know and folklore that I don't know, whether it's from Africa, whether it's from Indonesia, whether it's from Japan, whether it's from Alaska, whether it's from Newfoundland, whether it's from Ireland. I love seeing things like that woven into stories. And from what I can see, he's done something so well. Like, obviously, the thing I know from this image alone, the thing I know right off the bat are harpies. Harpies, Greek mythology. We all know about harpies, blah, 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 what have you. But I'm seeing other creatures that I'm not so sure of. I like that. I like being shown something that I don't know, that I might not know. And and on the Kickstarter page, there's even like a description of these beings, of these characters, of these creatures. I love that. I love that. Show me something different that I might not know, because then it gets me interested. Even if there's some that I do know, like harpies, okay, but I see everything else, gets me interested, gets me ready for it, and that excites me to read it, to be a part of this story, and to see what you're going to do with these characters. So that's awesome. Another one that we're going to talk about real quick, obviously, is Fumes 2. Y'all already know. Emmetropia Comics is laying it down with this second issue, and they're doing such a phenomenal job. M. Shai's work, craftiness, as from her quirky black sci-fi tales. This is from volume 2. 2? Yes, 2. Yes, 2. I love her taking stories from these volumes and creating. I hope that there are so many more different comics that I'm sure her mind is ablaze with all types of ideas and what have you, what she's going to do. But this is one that is very close to our near future, unfortunately, a dystopian sci-fi thriller. This is basically Eula, who is this agent, kind of soldier that works for X Corp. No, not X Corp. Yeah, it was X Corp. Oh, damn. Okay, I was thinking X-Men for some reason. I don't know why. And how she is fighting against these aliens with her squad, with her team, and how this is very close with our climate and how everything is happening, dystopia and shadowy conspiracies, and it's hitting very, very close to home. But one of the things I love about this is the art. The art, like I've said, whether it's especially at night, because a lot of this does take place at night, and at certain points there's a green tinge to some scenes and a red tinge to some scenes, especially during the fights. One of the things I love about that is it feels very claustrophobic. It feels very cramped. It almost feels like, and this is not me trying to be funny, but this is a comparison that I love because this movie hit me very much, is Aliens. That claustrophobic feel of, the alien is right there.
Yeah.
And there's this battle and this fight. And when you're reading it and you feel how tight the space is, you feel the close quarters, you feel that enemy, that xenomorph, that alien, that red, that green right there. It's terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. and to know that maybe your weapon ran out of ammo, so now you have to take out your knife and you got to go toe to toe. You have to go even closer to this creature. I absolutely love that. And Eula is one of the most striking characters I can think of on the page. Not just her beauty, but she's absolutely beautiful. She's one of the most beautiful characters I've seen. That's not hyperbole. That's not me. I'm dead serious. It's one of the most beautiful characters I've seen. But it's also what she has to do in the moment. Seeing her go toe to toe with this creature, and she's only given orders to kill the green ones and not the red ones, which is very important to the story as well. I find myself wanting to follow her character into pretty much everything, whether it's a comic, even if there were like novels, I would go into that with it. I would love to see this. Absolutely. Fumes is definitely on the list of comics that you should be, checking out. And the last one I'm going to talk about, which for some reason I am completely losing my train of thought, because there's so much going on at this point in time. There was another Kickstarter that I want. The Diary of Sweet Pea. So this is a beautiful. This is number 3. I want to say that's out. Number 3, yes. This is issue number 3. This is from Aleem Leggett. This guy is just one of those comics that hits you and is very, what would be the word, traumatic in a sense. So this is issue 3. Issue 1, we meet Sweet Pea and her father, and I will not talk about what happens on the bus, but there's this invasion of creatures, and we find out that that not everything is what it looks like. From people having powers and saving others to a very loving reunion between between a father and a daughter, which is really the linchpin of the story, is the father and daughter and their love for each other and trying to save one another, in essence, and being worried about each other during this cataclysmic event of this invasion. It's beautiful. Obviously, the purple strikes everything. With each issue, it levels up, which is what I love. I love seeing artists, writers, editors, letterers, whatever your medium is. I love seeing people level up in their work and just get better, because it makes me more excited to see the next thing that you come up with. So Aleem Leggett and the team are doing beautiful, beautiful jobs. And I love, so yeah, this is, we've got 15 days for this one. It's been funded, but keep going, because then that means that we can just get more from Aleem and his team. And I'm just here for it, man. I'm here for all these people doing these incredible things and cool comics, and these creators are just amazing. So yeah, those are my picks for Kickstarters. That's it.
Yeah, Kickstarter has been tapping my wallet lately. Yeah. So I will say that, like, it's but it's good. It is a good thing. So
yeah, it's definitely a good thing. But I love seeing it. And like I said, IG now tells me, oh, this person's got something that you might like, because you liked, Musa, you liked Fumes, you liked Scarlet Ranger, you liked Crescent City Monsters, and you like Isnana, you like, like anything from 133 art. I mean, Jesus. I talk about taking my wallet. I might as well just mail it to Jason at something. I'm like, look, man, you're gonna do what you're gonna do, man. Just go ahead. Just leave me something for rent. Just leave me something for rent, and so I can get a sandwich, please. All right, but folks, that is the show. Kickstarters, movie teasers, comics, reviews, nonprofit. We've covered a lot of everything, but there's still always so much more out there to talk about, and we love it. So if there's anything that you see that's cool that you think we might want to know about, let us know, please, in the comics. In the comments. But don't be an ass, because I'll block you and delete you as quick as anything. I'm very quick. I'm quicker than Wyatt Earp on that. I don't care. I am quicker than Bass Reeves on that mess. I will definitely take you and smoke you. I don't care. All right.
Doc Holliday in these streets.
So I'm gonna be real. I will be a Huckleberry.
Yeah,
I don't care. I don't have the patience of the time. You see all this gray? This gray is from each person that I smoked on here. I'll get rid of you. I don't care. But I'm always appreciative of the people who do come here, who want to see what we're talking about, what we're reading, what we're watching, whatever. All that, great. But unfortunately, we have to cut a little short tonight because both of us are well below E.
Yeah.
And you can probably tell from the looks on my face, at least. So, on that note, I am Antonio Pomares, aka the Hungry Bleak, the hungriest man in the room. You can take that however you like.
I am Robert Jeffrey II, aka Rob the Writer.
There you go. Folks, I will see you Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Hungry Bleak show. I don't know what I'm going to be doing yet, but it'll be something fun, probably. Hopefully.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
There you go. Surprise, mother. Well, no. I'm not going to go full dokes on y'all tonight. I'm not going to do that. Kind of do want to rewatch that show, but I want to get rid of Paramount.
It's been a minute, man. Yeah.
It's so funny in that series. Like
those first few seasons were really solid.
He hated him. He just always like that. You shut up. He never had one nice thing to say.
He said, "You weird motherfucker." No, I'm sorry. Like it's like because I like.
He continuously and Dexter would just sit there like, oh. And he'd be like just sitting there. His head was always, he had the best shaved head. His head just became like, you some kind of weirdo? You like blood? Yep. I was like, well, I'm the blood splatter expert. Yeah. Is that what you? Yeah. I might just need to watch just Doke's scene.
It's a montage.
This is just so good. All right, folks. You have a very good day, night, whatever it is. Happy New Comic Day. Like I said, go check out something. Moonstar #2 came out. I really enjoyed the first issue. Go check that out. See what's going on with that. And look, I keep saying this every week, but I am tired and I just don't have the heart to say it because the anger begins to take over so much. So I'm going to do something that I did Monday. I'm going to say, hey, do a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
There you go. You have a very good one. Enjoy whatever. Drink water. Take your vitamins. Take your meds, whether it's for physical, mental, or emotional ailment. And we will see you next week. All right. Peace. Hope I got the right video.